The test results were in my hands. The doctor wasn't speaking, just looking. For a year, I'd been taking $15,000 chemotherapy medication every month. My insurance was paying. I was taking it. My cancer should have been shrinking, but it was growing. I don't understand, the doctor finally said. The medication should have worked, but the tumor has doubled in size. Maybe the drug isn't working on me? No. This drug works. It always works. Silence. Bring the medication here. Tomorrow. Unopened. The next day, the doctor sent my bottle to the laboratory. 3 hours later, he called. Dominic, you need to come in immediately. There was someone else in his office. He showed me a badge. DEA agent. Mr. Heartfelt, the doctor said. What you've been taking isn't medication. It's sugar. Compressed sugar pills. 0 chemical content. The world stopped. I've been taking fake medication for 12 months? Yes. And your insurance paid $180,000 for real medication. But I didn't get it. We know. Someone else got it. But not you. The agent leaned forward. And Mr. Heartfield, you're not alone. There are 83 other people. My name is Dominic Heartfield. I'm 52 years old. And I just learned that someone had been trying to kill me. For money. Let me go back 18 months. I was living in Seattle. Working as a financial analyst. Married to Rachel. 2 kids. Normal life. Then I started feeling tired. Really tired. Losing weight without trying. Night sweats. I ignored it for a while. Told myself I was just getting older. Working too hard. But Rachel insisted I see a doctor. I went in for a checkup. Blood work. Scans. 2 weeks later, Dr. Patel called me back to his office. Dominic, I need you to sit down. Those words. Nobody wants to hear those words. We found something. Stage 3 pancreatic cancer. It's aggressive. We need to start treatment immediately. The world tilted. Pancreatic cancer. One of the worst kinds. Low survival rates. I was 51 years old. My daughter Emma was starting college. My son Jake was 15. I wasn't ready to die. Dr. Patel outlined the treatment plan. Surgery wasn't an option. The tumor was too advanced. But there was a chemotherapy drug. New. Expensive. Very effective for this type of cancer. It's called Gemstar. Clinical trials show remarkable results. 60% of patients see significant tumor reduction within 6 months. What's the catch? Cost. $15,000 per month. But your insurance should cover most of it. I checked with my insurance. Blue Cross Premier. They approved it. Full coverage. I'd pay a small co-pay. The rest covered. $15,000 a month. For however long I needed it. The pharmacy closest to my house was Meadowbrook Pharmacy. Small independent place. Been there 20 years. Owner was a guy named Raymond Park. Professional. Always remembered customers' names. I'd been going there for years for basic prescriptions. Allergy medication. Antibiotics. Normal stuff. I brought my Gemstar prescription to Meadowbrook. Raymond filled it personally. This is serious medication. Make sure you take it exactly as prescribed. Same time every day. I will. And if you have any side effects, call your doctor immediately. He seemed concerned. Professional. Caring. I trusted him. I started taking Gemstar in March. 1 pill every morning. The side effects were rough. Nausea, fatigue, hair loss. But Dr. Patel said that was normal. The medication is working. Your body is fighting. These symptoms are expected. After 3 months, we did new scans. Dr. Patel reviewed them carefully. The tumor hasn't shrunk, but it hasn't grown either. That's actually good news with this type of cancer. We're holding it stable. So the medication is working? It appears to be. Let's continue for another 3 months. I kept taking Gemstar every morning. $15,000 a month. Insurance paying. Raymond at Meadowbrook filling the prescription. Always professional. Always asking how I was feeling. Hanging in there, I tell him. Good. Keep fighting. 6 months in, we did another scan. This time, Dr. Patel's face was different. Concerned. The tumor has grown. Significantly. It's now stage 4. It's spread to your liver. I felt cold. But I've been taking the medication. Every day. Same time. I know. Sometimes the cancer becomes resistant. We might need to try a different drug. Is there something stronger? Not really. Gemstar is the gold standard for your type of cancer. When it stops working, options become limited. 9 months and the tumor had doubled in size. I was getting weaker, losing more weight. The pain was constant. I don't understand, I told Dr. Patel. This drug is supposed to work. Everyone says it works. Why isn't it working for me? Every patient is different. Your cancer is particularly aggressive. What are my options? Dr. Patel was quiet for a long moment. We can continue with Gemstar, hope it eventually takes effect. Or we can try experimental treatments, clinical trials. But honestly, Dominic, the prognosis isn't good. I went home that night and cried. Rachel held me, told me we'd fight this together, but I could see it in her eyes. She was preparing to lose me. The next day, I went back to Meadowbrook to pick up my monthly Gemstar. Raymond handed me the bottle. How are you doing? Not great. Cancer's spreading. He looked genuinely sad. I'm sorry to hear that. Is there anything I can do? Just keep filling this prescription. It's all I've got. Of course. I left with my bottle. $15,000 worth of medication. My last hope. That night, Rachel suggested something. Maybe you should get a second opinion. See another oncologist. Why? Cancer is cancer. Because you've been on this medication for 9 months and it's not working. Maybe there's something else. A different approach. She was right. Made an appointment with Dr. Sarah Chen at Swedish Medical Center. Top oncologist. She reviewed all my records, my scans, my treatment, history. I want to run some tests, she said, including testing your current medication. Why would you test the medication? Because something doesn't add up. Gemstar has a very high success rate. Even in advanced cases, it usually shows some effect. Your complete lack of response is unusual. She had me bring in my current bottle of Gemstar, sent it to the hospital laboratory. 3 hours later, she called me, asked me to come in immediately. When I arrived, there was a man with her, badge on his belt. Mr. Heartfelt, this is Agent Mike Torres from the DEA. We need to talk about your medication. That's when they told me. The pills weren't real. Lab analysis showed they were compressed sugar tablets, maybe some talc powder for texture, but zero active pharmaceutical ingredients. Someone has been giving you fake medication, Dr. Chen said. For how long? Based on your tumor progression, probably since the beginning. If you'd been taking real Gemstar, we'd expect to see at least some response. You've shown none. My pharmacy, Meadowbrook. Raymond filled these prescriptions. Agent Torres leaned forward. We need to investigate. But first, I need to know. Does your insurance company send payments directly to the pharmacy? Yes. They pay Meadowbrook. I just pay a small copay. How much has your insurance paid? I pulled out my insurance statements. 12 months of treatment. $15,000 per month. $180,000. Agent Torres and Dr. Chen exchanged looks. Mr. Heartfelt? Torres said. Your insurance company paid for real medication. Very expensive real medication. But you received fake pills. Someone pocketed the difference. Raymond, we need to verify that. But yes, most likely the pharmacist. I sat there trying to process. For 12 months I'd been taking sugar pills. For 12 months my cancer had been growing unchecked. For 12 months someone had been stealing my medication, selling it, giving me worthless fakes, letting me die, to make money. Agent Torres started an immediate investigation. Within 48 hours, they had enough for a search warrant. DEA agents raided Meadowbrook Pharmacy at 6 a.m. on a Thursday. I wasn't there, but Torres called afternoon. We found everything. Your real medication, cases of it, hidden in a storage room, still sealed, never opened. He kept it. He was selling it. We found records. He'd been selling genuine medications to overseas buyers. Black market, making huge profits. Patients like you were getting fake pills. Insurance companies were paying for real drugs. He was keeping the real drugs and selling them for cash. How much did he make? We're still calculating. But based on the records, at least $3 million over 5 years. My stomach turned. $3 million while I was dying. How many patients? Torres was quiet. 83 that we can confirm so far. All cancer patients, all on expensive chemotherapy medications, all receiving fakes. 83 people. Yes. We're contacting all of them now. Most are still alive. He didn't finish. He didn't need to. Some had died, thinking they were being treated, actually being killed by a pharmacist they trusted. Raymond Park was arrested that day, charged with healthcare fraud, distribution of counterfeit drugs for patients who had died. The media picked it up immediately. Local news. Then, Seattle pharmacist accused of giving fake cancer drugs to dozens of patients. My phone didn't stop ringing. Reporters wanted interviews. I declined. I didn't want to be the face of this. I just wanted to survive. Dr. Chen started me on real Gemstar immediately. We're starting fresh. Real medication this time. There's still a chance. After 12 months of the cancer growing, the human body is resilient. Let's fight. I took the first real dose of Gemstar that night. It felt different, psychologically at least, knowing it was real, knowing it might actually work. The side effects were worse than before, much worse. That's good, Dr. Chen said. That means the medication is actually in your system. Your body is responding. After 6 weeks, we did new scans. The tumor had stopped growing. It's not shrinking yet, Dr. Chen explained. But we've halted the progression. That's huge. We have a chance now. After 3 months, the tumor had shrunk by 20%. This is what should have been happening from the beginning, Dr. Chen said. Your body is responding exactly as expected. I cried in that examination room, not just from relief, from rage, because I'd lost a year of effective treatment, because of Raymond Park, because of greed. The criminal case moved forward. Federal prosecutors were aggressive. They brought in victims, families of patients who had died, medical experts explaining how the fake medications had killed people. Raymond's defense was predictable. He claimed he didn't know the medications were fake, said his supplier must have sent counterfeits, said he was a victim too, but the evidence was overwhelming. Records of his black market sales, emails discussing prices with overseas buyers, bank accounts with millions deposited. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing came 3 months later. Raymond Park stood in front of the judge, showed no emotion, didn't apologize, didn't show remorse. The judge wasn't merciful. You took an oath to help people, to heal. Instead, you chose profit over human life. You gave dying patients false hope while you stole from them. Some of those patients died, not just from cancer, but because you denied them the treatment that might have saved them. 25 years in federal prison, no parole, restitution of $3.2 million to victims, loss of pharmacy license permanently. As he was led away, Raymond looked at the courtroom. His eyes met mine for just a second. I saw nothing there. No regret, no humanity, just emptiness. The civil cases came next. 83 patients and families filed a class action lawsuit against Raymond, against Meadowbrook Pharmacy, against the drug suppliers who'd sold to him. My lawyer was a woman named Patricia Voss. She specialized in medical malpractice and healthcare fraud. This is one of the worst cases I've ever seen, she told me. The deliberate nature, the scale, the deaths. Juries are going to be sympathetic. I don't want sympathy. I want accountability. You'll get both. The lawsuit claimed damages for medical expenses, pain and suffering, emotional distress, for some families, wrongful death. Total claims exceeded $50 million. Raymond had insurance. The pharmacy had insurance, but it wasn't enough to cover everything. So we went after his personal assets, the house, the cars, the bank accounts with black market money, everything. During discovery, we found even more. Raymond had been doing this for 7 years, not 5. Started small, 1 or 2 patients. Tested whether anyone would notice. When no one did, he expanded. More patients, more medications. Cancer drugs were perfect, expensive. Patients were desperate, trusting. Insurance companies paid without much verification. He found overseas buyers easily. Chinese pharmaceutical distributors. Anyone willing to pay cash for American medications. No questions asked. He'd made over $4 million. Spent it on a vacation home, luxury cars, his kids' private school tuition, built on dying patients. The settlement came after 8 months of negotiation. Raymond's insurance paid their maximum, $2 million. His personal assets were liquidated, another $1.5 million. The pharmacy's insurance paid $1 million. Total of $4.5 million split among 83 claimants and families. I received $78,000. It felt meaningless. Blood money. I donated it to cancer research. Meanwhile, my treatment continued. Real Gemstar. Month after month, the tumor kept shrinking. After a year of real treatment, I was in partial remission. The cancer is still there, Dr. Chen explained, but it's small, manageable. We'll keep you on maintenance doses. Monitor closely. But Dominic, you're going to survive this. I broke down because for so long I thought I was dying, thought the treatment wasn't working, thought my body was failing. But it was never me. It was Raymond. If I'd had real medication from the beginning, I might be cancer-free now. Instead, I was in partial remission, still at risk, still fighting, because someone valued money over my life. I started speaking publicly about what happened, not for attention. Warn people. Trust your doctors. Trust your pharmacists. But verify. Ask questions. If treatment isn't working, investigate why. Get second opinions. Test your medications if something seems wrong. I connected with other victims from Raymond's pharmacy. We formed a support group, shared our experiences, helped each other heal. Some had survived, like me. Others had lost loved ones. One woman named Janet had lost her husband. He was on medication for lymphoma, she told me. It should have worked. He should have lived. Instead, Raymond gave him fake pills. My husband died thinking the cancer beat him, but really Raymond killed him. She cried as she said it. We all cried with her. The DEA investigation expanded nationally. They found that Raymond wasn't alone. There were other pharmacists doing similar schemes. Dozens of them, all over the country, giving fake medications to vulnerable patients, making millions. It became a task force, federal, multi-state. They started cracking down. New verification systems for pharmacies, surprise inspections, testing of criminal penalties increased. Some good came from the horror. 3 years after my diagnosis, I was cancer complete remission. Dr. Chen said the word I'd been waiting to hear. Cured. We can't say it with certainty, but your scans are completely clear. No evidence of disease. I called Rachel from the parking lot. It's gone. The cancer is gone. She cried. Happy tears this time. That night we had dinner with Emma and Jake. Celebrated life. Celebrated survival. Emma was finishing college now. Jake was applying. They'd both grown up watching me fight cancer, watching me almost die, watching me claw back to life. I'm proud of you, Dad, Emma said. You never gave up. I had help, real medicine, finally. And you fought to make sure it doesn't happen to others. That was true. The foundation we'd started, the Heartfelt Patient Safety Foundation, had helped pass new laws. Stricter pharmacy oversight, patient rights to request medication verification, stiffer penalties for healthcare fraud. Raymond's case had changed things, made headlines, made lawmakers pay attention. 4 years after the arrest, I got a letter. From Raymond, from prison. I almost threw it away, but curiosity won. I opened it. The letter was typed, formal. Mr. Heartfelt, I am writing to inform you that I have been diagnosed with colon cancer. Stage 4. The prison medical facility has limited treatment options. I am being given chemotherapy, but I am not sure if it is real or fake. I am not sure if I am being treated or if someone is doing to me what I did to you. I find this ironic. Perhaps this is justice. I do not expect your sympathy. I do not deserve it. But I wanted you to know. Raymond Park. I read it 3 times. Then I burned it. I didn't respond. Didn't acknowledge it. He wanted something from me. Absolution, maybe. Or just acknowledgement. He got neither. 6 months later, I heard through my lawyer that Raymond had died in prison. The cancer had spread rapidly. He'd received treatment. Whether it was real or fake, I never learned. I didn't attend his funeral. Didn't send condolences to his family. I simply noted that he was gone, unable to hurt anyone else. My name is Dominic Heartfelt. I'm 56 years old now. I've been cancer-free for 4 years. I work with patient advocacy groups, speak at medical conferences, help pass legislation protecting vulnerable patients. Raymond Park gave me fake medication for a year. Let my cancer grow, almost killed me, for money. But I survived, and I made sure his crimes led to changes. Real changes that protect others, because some fights are worth having, even after you've won your own. Let me tell you more about what those 12 months were actually like. The months when I thought I was being treated, but actually being poisoned by false hope. March started with optimism. I'd been diagnosed. It was terrifying. But I had a plan, a proven medication, good insurance, a trusted pharmacist. I remember the first time I picked up Gemstar from Meadowbrook. Raymond personally handed me the bottle, white pills in an orange prescription container. This is going to save your life, he said. I believed him. Why wouldn't I? He was a licensed pharmacist, trained, professional, someone whose entire job was keeping people healthy. I took that first pill on March 15th, set an alarm on my phone for 7 a.m. every morning, same time, consistent, like Dr. Patel instructed. The side effects hit within days. Nausea so intense I could barely eat. Fatigue that made climbing stairs feel like running a marathon. My hair fell out in clumps in the shower. Rachel helped me shave my head. "You look tough," she said, trying to smile, trying to be strong. I told myself the side effects meant it was working, that my body was fighting, that the medication was doing its job. But here's what I didn't know. The side effects weren't from the medication. They were from the cancer itself, growing, spreading, attacking my body while I thought I was fighting back. In April, I had my first follow-up with Dr. Patel. He reviewed the scans carefully. "Tumor is stable," he said. "That's good news at this stage." I felt relief. The medication was working, holding the cancer at bay, except it wasn't. The tumor wasn't stable. It was growing, but slowly enough that month-to-month changes were subtle. Dr. Patel was being optimistic, wanting to give me hope. In May, Rachel noticed I was losing more weight. "You need to eat more," she said. "Keep your strength up." I tried, but nothing tasted right. Food made me nauseous. I was down to 1 meal a day, sometimes less. "It's the chemo," Dr. Patel explained. "Your appetite will come back. Just stay hydrated." But it wasn't the chemo. Real Gemstar causes nausea, but manageable nausea. What I was experiencing was cancer-related cachexia, my body wasting away because the disease was advancing unchecked. By June, I'd lost 40 pounds. I looked skeletal. Emma came home from college for summer break and barely recognized me. "Dad." She couldn't finish the sentence, just hugged me, carefully, like I might break. "I'm okay," I told her. "The treatment is working. This is temporary." I believed it. I had to believe it, because the alternative was unthinkable. July brought new symptoms. Pain in my abdomen, constant, dull but persistent. Dr. Patel prescribed pain medication. "The tumor is pressing on nerves. This is manageable. We'll adjust your pain meds." But the pain kept getting worse. By August, I was on OxyContin. High doses, just to function, to get through a workday, to pretend I was okay. I kept going to Meadowbrook every month, picking up my Gemstar, paying my copay. Raymond always asked how I was doing, always expressed concern, always said the same thing. "Keep fighting. You're doing great." He knew. Every time he handed me that bottle of fake pills, he knew I was dying, that I wasn't being treated, that his greed was killing me. And he looked me in the eye and smiled. That's what haunts me most. Not the medical fraud, not even the cancer, but the personal betrayal, the looking someone in the eye knowing you're killing them and pretending to care. September was when things got really bad. I couldn't work anymore, took disability leave, spent most days in bed. The pain was overwhelming, even with medication. Rachel took care of me, helped me to the bathroom, made sure I took my pills, the fake pills, every morning at 7 a.m. "You're going to beat this," she'd say, her voice breaking, trying to stay positive. For me, for the kids, for herself. October, Dr. Patel ordered new scans. His face, when he saw the results, told me everything. "The tumor has grown significantly. It's now stage 4. It's spread to your liver." I remember the room spinning, the floor disappearing beneath me. But I've been taking the medication every single day, exactly like you said. I know. Sometimes cancer is just too aggressive. Sometimes medications stop working. He believed the medication was real, believed I was taking actual Gemstar, had no reason to doubt it. Why would he? Who suspects a pharmacist of giving patients fake drugs? November, I started planning my funeral. Picked out music, wrote letters to Emma and Jake to open after I was gone, made sure my life insurance was in order. Rachel would be okay financially at least. I was 52 years old and accepting that I was going to die. Not from cancer, really. From betrayal, from greed, from a man who valued money over human life. December, Rachel pushed me to see Dr. Chen, get a second opinion. I didn't want to. Felt like giving up on Dr. Patel, admitting defeat. But I went, and Dr. Chen saved my life, not just by discovering the fake medication, but by acting immediately, by bringing in the DEA, by starting real treatment without delay. When the DEA raided Meadowbrook, They found evidence of Raymond's operation going back 7 years. He'd been systematic, careful. He started small with less expensive medications, saw that insurance companies didn't verify, that patients trusted their pharmacists implicitly. Then he got greedy, moved to high-value drugs, cancer medications, HIV antiretroviral medications for rare diseases, anything expensive that insurance would cover without question. He had a network. Buyers in China, Russia, Mexico, places where American pharmaceutical drugs sell for premium prices. No FDA approval needed, just cash. He'd receive the real medication from supplier, keep it sealed, fill patient prescriptions with counterfeits he ordered from underground labs. Sugar pills, vitamin pills, sometimes actual medication, but much weaker doses. Patients got sick. Some died. Insurance kept paying. Raymond kept profiting. The DEA found spreadsheets on his computer, lists of patients, medications they were prescribed, insurance payment amounts, black market sale prices, profit margins calculated to the penny. I was on that spreadsheet. Patient number 47, Heartfelt, Gemstar, monthly. Insurance pays $15,000. Cost to acquire counterfeit $50. Black market sale $13,000. Monthly profit $27,950. I was worth $28,000 a month to him while I was dying. They also found communications with the counterfeit suppliers, email accounts using encrypted services, discussing production, quality control, making sure the fake pills looked convincing enough. One email haunted Raymond writing to a supplier. Patient complained pills taste different. Can you add flavoring to match real medication better? He was that detailed, that careful, making sure patients like me didn't suspect. The families of patients who died were the hardest part of the investigation. Day reached out to all of them, explained what had happened, that their loved ones might have survived with real medication. One family was a couple named David and Sharon Martinez. Their son Carlos had been 28 years old. Leukemia, highly treatable, especially at his age. He was prescribed a medication called Gleevec, very effective, very expensive. Carlos got his prescriptions from Meadowbrook. Raymond gave him fakes. The leukemia progressed. Carlos died after 14 months. We thought the cancer was just too aggressive, Sharon told me when we met at a victim support meeting. We thought Carlos was one of the unlucky ones, that the medication didn't work for him. But it wasn't the cancer, David said, his voice flat, dead. It was murder. They were right. That's what it was. Not medical malpractice, not fraud. Murder, premeditated, calculated, for profit. The prosecutors considered murder charges, but proving premeditation is difficult. Raymond could argue he didn't intend for people to die, that he thought they'd get treatment elsewhere eventually, that he was just committing fraud, not murder. So they went with the charges they could prove. Healthcare fraud, distribution of counterfeit drugs, manslaughter for the deaths that could be directly linked. Still enough for 25 years. Effectively a life sentence for a 48-year-old man. During the trial, Raymond's family tried to paint him as a victim too. His wife testified that he'd been under financial pressure, that he'd made mistakes, but wasn't a bad person. His daughter cried on the stand talking about what a good father he'd been. The prosecution destroyed that narrative, showed evidence of his luxury purchases, the vacation home in Cabo, the Mercedes, the private school tuition. This wasn't a man struggling financially, the prosecutor said. This was a man who decided that his comfortable lifestyle was worth more than his patients' lives. The jury saw through the defense, guilty on every count. When sentencing came, the judge allowed victim impact statements. 17 people spoke. I was one of them. I stood at that podium, looked at Raymond sitting at the defense table, and I told him exactly what he'd done to me. You looked me in the eye every month, asked how I was feeling, told me to keep fighting. While you knew I was dying because you were stealing my medication, you counted your money while I planned my funeral. You bought vacation homes while I wrote goodbye letters to my children. And you felt nothing. No guilt, no conscience. Nothing. Raymond didn't look at me, didn't react, just stared straight ahead. Empty. The judge's sentence was harsh. 25 years. Restitution. License revoked. But even that felt insufficient. How do you quantify the cost of stolen time, of suffering, of families destroyed? After the criminal trial came the civil litigation. That's when we learned the full scale of Raymond's theft. $4.2 million over 7 years, from 83 patients. Some had died, some survived like me. All had suffered. The lawsuit was complex. Multiple defendants. Raymond personally. Meadowbrook Pharmacy as a business entity. The suppliers who'd sold him the counterfeits, knowing what he planned to do with them. Insurance companies who'd failed to verify the medications they were paying for. My lawyer, Patricia, fought for 18 months. Depositions, discovery, negotiations. This is going to trial, she told me 6 months in. They're not offering enough to settle. They think they can win. Can they? No. The evidence is overwhelming. They're gambling that juries might be skeptical of the amounts we're claiming. She was right to be confident. When we finally got to trial, the jury was visibly angry, watching victim testimonies, seeing the evidence of Raymond's systematic operation. Deliberation took 6 hours. Verdict was unanimous. $50 million in total damages, split among all victims based on their individual losses. My share was $78,000. I donated every penny to the American Cancer Society, specifically to their patient advocacy division. Money that would help others navigate the system, avoid predators like Raymond. But the legal victory felt hollow, because I couldn't get back what he'd stolen. Not really. Yes, I survived. Yes, I'm cancer-free now. But I lost a year when the cancer was growing unchecked, a year when early aggressive treatment might have eliminated it completely. Instead, I'm in remission, which means I'm not cured, just stable. I'll be monitoring for recurrence for the rest of my life. Every 6 months, scans, blood work, waiting to see if the cancer comes back, living with that fear, because Raymond Park valued money over my life. That's his real legacy, not the prison time, not the money he stole, but the permanent damage he caused, the fear, the trauma, the stolen sense of security. 4 years after the arrest, I've rebuilt my life. But it's different. I'm different. I don't trust easily anymore. When I pick up prescriptions now, I verify everything, ask questions, research the pharmacy, check reviews. Some pharmacists get annoyed, think I'm being difficult. I don't care. I nearly died because I trusted blindly. Never again. I work with patient advocacy groups now, teaching people to be their own advocates, to question, to verify, to never assume that healthcare professionals are always acting in your best interest. Most are. The vast majority are good people doing difficult jobs. But predators exist, and they rely on trust to operate. I speak at medical conferences too. Pharmacy boards, explaining from a patient perspective what it's like to be betrayed by the system meant to heal you. Some pharmacists get defensive. Say, I'm painting all pharmacists with a broad brush. They're missing the point. I'm not saying all pharmacists are criminals. I'm saying the system has vulnerabilities, and those vulnerabilities need to be addressed. Because Raymond wasn't unique. The DEA task force found dozens of similar cases. Pharmacists across the country running the same scam. Fake medications to vulnerable patients. Real medications sold for cash. It's still happening, even after Raymond's high-profile case, even with new regulations. Because where there's money, there are people willing to do anything to get it. My foundation, the Heartfelt Patient Safety Foundation, has helped pass legislation in 12 states now. Laws requiring random verification testing of prescription medications, patient rights to request independent testing, stiffer criminal penalties for healthcare fraud, whistleblower protections for pharmacy employees who report suspicious activity. It's not enough, but it's something. Small victories that might save lives. That's what I tell myself when the work feels overwhelming, when I wonder if any of this matters. One life saved makes it worth it. Emma graduated from college last year. She's in medical school now, wants to be an oncologist. Because of what happened to you, she said, I want to help people fight cancer, but also protect them from people like Raymond. I'm proud of her, proud that something good came from something so terrible. Jake is in college studying criminal justice, wants to work for the FBI, white-collar crime unit, he explained. People like Raymond who hurt others from behind a desk. They need to be stopped. Both my kids were shaped by what happened, by watching me almost die, by learning that evil doesn't always look like you expect. Sometimes it looks like a friendly pharmacist in a white coat. Rachel and I are still together, stronger actually. Surviving something like this either destroys a marriage or makes it unbreakable. For us, it was the latter. She never left my side, never gave up, even when I did. I owe her everything. My name is Dominic Heartfelt. I'm 56 years old. I've been cancer-free for 4 years. I run a foundation protecting patients from healthcare fraud. I speak publicly about my experience. I fight to make sure what happened to me doesn't happen to others. Raymond Park gave me fake medication for 12 months. Let my cancer grow unchecked. Almost killed me. For money. But I survived. And I've spent every day since making sure his crimes led to real change. Because that's what you do when you survive. You fight for those who didn't. You make sure their suffering meant something. You turn tragedy into purpose. And you never stop fighting, even when you've already won.